she asks for you feel all that we're crying for sweets lady.
Good day guys, Chairman again, and welcome to our channel. Before anything else, I just want to greet all of my subscribers because without you guys, I would not be able to meet the requirement of YouTube. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. Well, today we'll be talking about desserts. The basic desserts that we usually serve after meals. We will be discussing different basic desserts from hard custard, soft custard, crepes, Choux Pastry, the puffs and the eclairs, and the tarts, and of course a gelatin and some cakes. We will talk about their characteristics and their ingredients. And speaking of ingredients, we will also be discussing the different characteristics of different ingredients in dessert making or pastry making, from flour, butter, cream, milk, gelatin, etc. etc. By the way, for first timer in our channel, after watching the video, please subscribe and also click the like and the bell button. The bell button is very important because by clicking the bell button, you will be notified the next time I upload another video or whenever I upload a video. So guys, without further ado, let us start. Okay, first, what is a dessert? Well, a dessert is usually a sweet food that is eaten after the main course or could be taken as a snack as well. Desserts includes confection dishes or fruit, biscuits, cakes, gelatin, ice creams, pastries, pies, puddings, and tarts. Well, most desserts contain high amount of sugar, flour, or other starch. In desserts, we also make use of fats or butter or lard, eggs, milk, acidic ingredients such as lemon juice, and other flavorings such as chocolate, peanut butter, nuts, fruits, and etc. And the proportions of these ingredients, along with the preparation methods, play a major part in the consistency, texture, and flavor of the end products. And a dessert is a course that concludes a meal, meaning the last part of our meal. Got it, guys? The term dessert can also apply to many confections like biscuits, cakes, cookies, custards, gelatins, ice cream, pastries, pies, puddings, sweet soups, and tarts. Fruits is also commonly found in the list of desserts due to its natural sweetness. Got it? For sweetness of the desserts, sugar provides moisture and tenderizes baked goods. Okay? We also use flour and starch in making dessert because flour or starch components give the dessert a structure. Got it? And fats are also used in dessert preparation because fats also contribute to the moisture and enable the development of flaky layers in pastries and pie crust. Got it, guys? We also use different dairy products because the dairy products in the baked goods keep the dessert moist. And of course, not to forget the eggs because many dessert also contains eggs. In order to form custard or to aid in the rising and thickening of cake-like substances, we use eggs. Well, in fact, egg yolks specifically contributes to the richness of desserts. Egg whites can act as leavening agent or provide structure to different desserts. Some desserts can also contain many spices and extracts to add a variety of flavor. Got it? Salts and acids are also added to desserts to balance sweet flavor and create a contrast in flavors of different desserts. Some desserts also use alcohols or spirits because alcohol can also be used as an ingredient to make an alcoholic desserts. Got it? Because we also have alcoholic desserts. Well, actually, dessert consists of flavors. Sometimes they vary in texture and appearances to make it nicely presented on a plate when served. Next, we'll be talking about different characteristics of ingredients used in dessert making. An ingredient is the flour. Flour is a powder made from grain, especially wheat, that is used in dessert making. A lot of dessert is using flour. There are different kinds of flour, but the most commonly used in dessert making are the all-purpose flour and the cake flour, or the soft flour. Now let's talk about sugar. Sugar is a sweet substance usually in form of white or brown crystals or white powder that comes from plants and is used to make desserts or food sweeter. Next is milk. Well, milk is a liquid produced by female animals and usually used in dessert making. And from fresh animals, it is usually pasteurized to do away with all the harmful bacteria that might contaminate the fresh milk. There are different market forms of this milk. It could be in form of fresh milk, as sweetened condensed, unevaporated, or skimmed, or fat, or powdered. And the yellow coloring in milk reveals the presence of a provitamin A factor called carotene. And next to our list is the cream. Cream is the thick part of milk that rises to the top, the part of milk that contains fat. So remember, it is the thick part of the milk that rises on top. There are three kinds of creams. Number one is the half and half cream, which has 12% butter fat and often used in fattening diets. Number two is the ordinary creams, which we regularly use. It is ordinary because it contains 18 to 20% butter fat. And third, of course, is our whipping cream. A whipping cream which is skimmed from milk and contains 32 to 40% butter fat. Got it, guys? There is also a light cream and a heavy cream. Cream with 32% butter fat is referred to as light cream, and the one with 40% butter fat is called heavy cream. Always remember that, guys. If whipped cream is to be used decoratively, bring it to the point where the cream molecules are about to become buttery. By the way, do not try to whip the cream in a blender. And you can put a little gelatin if whipped cream is to be held for 24 hours or more. When you whip a cream, whipping cream expands to double volume by the incorporation of air through constant beating. Also, to get the right texture of your cream, the bowl, the beater, and the cream should be well chilled in a refrigerator for at least 2 hours. Remember, 2 hours chilled. With this, The milk fat stays firm during whipping rather than becoming oily from the friction involved. When whipping a cream during warm weather, beat it over ice. Unchilled cream when whipped turns quickly to butter. Remember that. Okay, next is vegetable fats. It could be butter or shortening or oil. Usually, vegetable fats are extracted from seeds or less often from parts of fruit, while animal fats are lipid materials derived from animals. Those are the fats. And fats are solid at room temperature. And oil, since oil is 100% fat, they must be reduced by 20% when substituted for butter, either by weight or by measure. However, there are additional complications when substituting them with solid fats, especially in baking. Next is butter. Butter is a dairy product with high butter fat content. It is solid when chilled and liquid when warm. And butter consists of butter fat, milk proteins, and water. And often salt is also added. And next to our list is gelatin. Gelatin is a translucent, colorless, and flavorless food ingredient. Gelatin is brittle when dry and gummy when moist. Gelatin is used for gelatin desserts in most gummy candy and marshmallows, and also in some ice creams, in some dips, and also yogurts. The market form of gelatin is, it could maybe in form of powder or granules and sweets. There is also an instant type of gelatin that can be added to the food as they are. But for others, we usually soak it in water beforehand, usually warm water or hot water. And gelatin also solidifies liquid used for gala desserts and some salad molds. Gelatin also makes sophisticated glazing and ingenious marshmallows. In the cold kitchen, gelatin is also used in making an aspic. When used as aspic, it may be chopped or cut into fancy shapes and or used as garnish or can be used as glazing for some cold cuts.
And when used for frozen dessert, it also gives smoother texture to frozen desserts, jellies, and soup. And also, it also thickens cold sauces and glazes.
In sponge and whipped desserts, it doubles the volume of the dessert. 1 tablespoon of gelatin can gel 2 cups of liquid. Remember that. 1 tablespoon is for 2 cups of liquid. For normal use, 2 hours is enough to gel a clear liquid. But if it has fruits, chill it for 4 hours before unmolding so that it is already stable after 4 hours. And should you want to use gelatin in glazing cold food, make sure that the food is well chilled before applying the aspic jelly. Just brush with thin coating of aspic the chilled cold food and then chill it in the chiller. Next is cornstarch. Cornstarch is a common ingredient used as thickening agent in liquid based on food like soup, crepes, and custards. Now we'll talk a variety of desserts. First, we'll talk about the gelatin pudding. This kind of dessert vary greatly in texture. Easiest to prepare are the clear jellies to which you may add fruits and nuts. And if pureed fruit is added, it loses its clarity. And the dessert bears some similarity to a mousse. When gelatins are allowed to set partially and then are then beaten or combined with egg whites, they are known as whips, sponges, or snows. With gelatins, doubles its volume. Snows and sponges, which include egg whites, may triple its volume. Sometimes, a clear and spongy gelatins are combined in layers in a single mold. Remember, the use of gelatins in frozen desserts prevents the formation of coarse crystals and produces a lovely smooth texture. Okay, next, we'll talk about custard. There are two kinds of custard, the hard custard and the soft custard. Custards involves a variety of culinary preparation based on milk or cream cooked with egg or egg yolk to thicken it, and sometimes also flour, cornstarch, or gelatins. Depending on the recipe, custard may vary from thin pouring sauce to thick pastry cream used to fill cream puffs, eclairs, Napoleon slices, and tarts. Okay, now let's talk about hard custard. Hard custard is a kind of dessert that is made of eggs, milk, and sugar. This dessert can be cooked in a steamer or in an oven with the mold placed in a deep tray with water. And scalding milk shortens the cooking time of custard, be it a soft or a firm custard, as scalding means boiling it. But when you scald the milk, let it cool before you add eggs to avoid it from curdling. And to test the doneness of hard custard, you just have to insert a skewer or a pointed knife into it. If it comes out clean, it is done. And if you're making a harder custard, egg whites may be added. The proportion is 1 whole egg for every 2 egg yolks. Okay? And now, let us talk about soft custard. Okay? Soft custard is a kind of dessert that is also made of eggs, milk, and sugar. And soft custard is cooked in a double boiler or heated very gently in a saucepan on a stove. But I highly recommend double boiling so you're safe. In preparing soft custard, adding a small amount of cornstarch to the mixture stabilizes your soft custard. Okay, now let us talk about Choux Pastry. Choux Pastry is a basic in pastry that can be used unsweetened or as a base for gnocchi, dauphin potato, or lorette potato. It can also be used as soup garniture or as a hors d'oeuvres or appetizer cases or casing. When sweetened, it comes with a presentation of food like cream puff, eclair, croquembouche, or profiteroles. Okay, now let us talk about crepes. Crepes is a type of very thin pancake, another basic in dessert making or pastry making. There are 2 types of crepes, the sweet and the savory or salted crepes. Crepes are served with a variety of filling. Okay, now let us talk about pie and tart crust. Crust is the outer hard skin of bread or the shell of a pie or tart. Generally, it is made up of at least shortening or another fat or butter, water, flour and salt. It may also include milk, sugar, or other ingredients that contribute to the taste or texture. And an egg or a milk wash can be used to decorate the outer part. This is a mixture of milk and egg that you brush on the crust before baking it. The ratio of ingredients and the mixing method determines the texture of the crust. And if the flour is not well mixed with the shortening, water can bind to the available flour, causing the gluten-potent matrix to become overdeveloped, resulting to a tough dough or crust. Preparing it all depends on the type of pastry. The crust can be baked before it is filled or baked together with the filling. Now let us talk about Bavaroise or mousse. Bavaroise or mousse is a dessert consisting of milk taken with eggs and gelatin, into which whipped cream is folded. Okay, now let us talk about cakes. Yes, cakes. Cake is a form of sweet dessert that is baked. And in their oldest forms, cakes are modifications of bread. Yes, you heard it right. Modification of bread. Nowadays, cakes now cover a wide range of preparation that can be simple or elaborate. Now let us talk of the cream patisserie, or the filling that we usually placed in puffs, in eclairs, and in Napoleon and tarts. Cream patisserie is a pastry filling which can be enriched by folding whipped cream and or chopped nuts, candied fruits, and other liqueur flavoring. And the base for cream patisserie is a soft custard and basically flavored with vanilla. For variation purposes, vanilla can be substituted by chocolate, coffee, banana, and other fruits that's available in your stock. There are some pastry cream wherein cornstarch is used instead of flour, and there are some variation wherein gelatins are sometimes added. But for me, I choose to add cornstarch. Cream patisserie. This filling are used for different dessert variations like Choux Pastry for cream puff and eclair, tarts, and puff pastry variation like Napoleon slices and some fruit tarts. Now guys, I believe with all the things that I have discussed with you regarding the dessert making, I know now that you will be fully guided when you follow my different recipes of dessert making. For first timers in our channel, this is the time for you to subscribe, like, and click the bell button down there. And don't forget to comment, because based on your comment, if I need to make adjustment, I could easily adjust the necessary adjustment that you want on my videos. So, thank you very much for watching. See you next video. This is Chef Ben Casabon signing off, and God bless us all.